Christian Dior. She liked the way. She liked the way. Christian Dior.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion.
If you see me with a cup, then you best know what's up. I'm back with a cup full of wisdom. And that's on period. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Inspired Transform. My name is Whitney Akini. If you're new here, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share, and be sure to leave a comment. So the basic goal of this show is to inspire transformation through a shift of mindset for a better tomorrow. So we basically talk about every single thing that you can think about, every single thing that you are not thinking about, every single thing that you don't know you need. We are going to talk about all of that because I believe life is full of shit. Like, life can really throw some serious lemons on you, and I'm here to help you make some lemonade and make some money while we're making that lemonade. So let's just keep this ball rolling. Okay, I don't know which ball, but let's just keep it rolling. Whatever is rolling, let it just keep rolling. Today's conversation is around why we set limits on things in life. Like, you should be married by 25, you should have kids by 27, you should have a good stable job by 30, you should have this by 40, you should have your own house. There's so many expectations and so many limits that we've set on ourselves. So because of all these limits that have been set by society, then we tend to think that we have to accomplish things by a certain timeline, and we have to do things just because society has dictated them as correct and as right and as the status quo, if I may say. I look at all of this as limitations. I look at all of this as distractions. I look at all of this as constraints, because if you're telling me that I have to make it by 30, then you're not allowing me and giving me the room to blossom, to grow, to make mistakes and whatnot. Because in my head, I'm constantly faced with the fear and the, what's that word? I'm constantly battling with the fact that, guys, I have to make it by 30. As of now, I'm 22, so I have 8 more years to make it. So there's that sort of societal pressure that comes with all these things that we must conform to, and these things that come with the status quo. Which is why I'm a huge believer of, one, not believing in titles. Like, I do not believe in titles. Like, you know, it's so easy for you to say, I'm a doctor. It's so easy for me to say, I'm a CEO, I'm a co-founder of this company, I'm an author, I'm a this, I'm a that. But I feel like with our current society and where we are at, there's so much pressure towards doing certain things in a certain way because of the expectations around that particular thing. Because now, if I start saying I'm a CEO, I'm an author, I'm a life coach, or I'm a productivity coach, or I'm this, I'm that, there's a level of expectation that you have from me. Like, you expect me to carry myself this certain way, you expect me to give this certain quality, you expect me to do A, B, C, D, E, F. Like, you have expectations of me. But in the real sense, we forget to understand that every single person in this planet is on a learning journey. No one has shit figured out. Like, no one, no matter how rich they seem, no matter how successful they seem, no one has everything figured out. Life in itself is a journey. It's a series of lessons. That's why it's called the school of life. Because every single day, life is teaching you something. There's something that you're going to learn today that you didn't know yesterday. You understand? So this issue of putting all these expectations towards certain titles, for me, honestly, it's a no-no. You'd rather call me a lover of life. Like, I'd rather call myself a lover of life, or I don't know. Like, call me Whitney. It's enough. Like, I already have a title. My name is Whitney. Just call me Whitney. Like, the moment I start saying, okay, I'm an author, or okay, I am a this, I am a that, there's so many expectations that come with the titles that we give ourselves. Let's use an example. You're a doctor at Nairobi Hospital. So you're a doctor, let's say Joseph Kinyanjui. So you're Dr. Joseph Kinyanjui. When I come to see Dr. Joseph Kinyanjui, first of all, I expect by default that he is well dressed. I expect by default that he is eloquent. I expect by default that he knows what he's doing. I expect that he has his facts at his fingertips and whatnot. Like, I have all these expectations because society has molded my mind into the confirmation of this is what a doctor is supposed to do. This is what a doctor is supposed to look like. So when I come to you, I have all these expectations. Like, I already know this is how Dr. Kinyanjui is supposed to look like. You understand? This is how he's supposed to speak. This is the content that he's supposed to give if he's speaking. You know, if he's a neurosurgeon or whatnot, he needs to have his facts in order. You understand? But when I get to meet Dr. Kinyanjui, it's the totally opposite. And get this, guys. The fact that it's the total opposite is not his fault. That is your fault in entirety. Why? You're the one who had the expectations. And when he disappoints you, he's not really doing it to you, but you're doing it to yourself. Because you already set standards that he should meet. And when you meet him, he's the complete opposite of what you expected. So you realize that he is not the one disappointing you, but you are the one disappointing yourself. You understand? So when I look at, sometimes we're looking at social media and guys are ranting and saying, oh, this guy pretends to be all this and that. In my opinion, I look at it from this perspective. First of all, your opinion is your responsibility. Like, what you think of me is not my responsibility. It's absolutely not my responsibility. You need to get that in your head. What you think of another person, your opinion and perspective of another person is your responsibility and not theirs. You understand what I'm saying? So because now we know, or rather we assume that the doctor is supposed to be like this and whatnot, now you will find it to be quite a challenge to adapt and be flexible to what he really is. At the end of the day, I feel like we have so many ideas and so many imaginations of how things are supposed to be, and life just doesn't give us cake. Like, hey, shika keki, kata, wow, eat it. Life is not like that. Life is gonna throw lemons, like we said before, and it's up to you to make them and turn them into lemonade, make zest out of it. Like, figure out what you're gonna do with that lemon, because it's bitter as hell. It really is. So with regards to what I've just talked about, I came across a meme that said, you're broke you're broke until you're 24. After 24, you're not broke, you're poor. And I had this conversation with my friends, and we are like, okay, what do you think? Just how girls and guys talk in general. So I know this is going to contradict what I just talked about, but listen to the perspective. Okay, I have 2 years to get to 24. So that's a total of 24 months. So what can I do in those 24 months to get to where I want to get, or to make the money I want to make, or to make or create the brand that I want to make, and how I'm going to achieve all my goals, all my, let's say, life's goals in a period of 2 years. And what I honestly believe is that we really underestimate the value of weaponizing our hours and weaponizing our time. Why and how? I talk about this in the sense that it's easy for us to say, I'm going to make it by 30. You know why? Because as of now, if I'm 22, if you're 20, 22 or whatnot, let's use myself as an example. I'm 22. I have 8 years to get to 30. Guys, 8 years. 8 years is not a short time. 8 years is a long ass time. So in those 8 years, in my head I'm thinking, I have room for failure, I have room to chill, I have room for silly mistakes, I have room to not to miss out on my to-do lists, I have room to do this and that, I have room to not get things done. But saying that I'm going to make it in 2 years, I'm going to make it in 6 months, or I'm going to make it in 1 year is outside our comfort zone. Why? Because we fully understand that we need to actually put in the work. Like, there's no room to chill, there's no room to relax. Things have got to work accordingly. If it's about your spending habits, you can't overspend. You cannot be extravagant, because that money is required, like, build your business from scratch or whatever you're doing. You cannot have some certain kind of mentality. You have to be waking up at 4. Like, you want to get all these things done in 1 year, in 12 months, then you have to weaponize your time and weaponize your hours. You understand? So, for me, I honestly looked at it from the point of, we are so scared to make things work in a shorter time frame as opposed to a longer time frame. Because something you think you should do in 1 year, you can actually do in 2 months. Like, that's the power of weaponizing your time and getting your head in the game. So for me, I honestly looked at that from that perspective, and not from the perspective of there's so much pressure, like we have to do it by this time, do it by this time. It's so easy to think like everyone else, but it's so hard to think differently. Like, it's super hard to think differently. So always strive to think differently, strive to think outside the box. And I'll close by saying that, guys, there is so much power in weaponizing your time, so much power in a straight up focus, so much power in the smaller time frames. I believe like that's honestly where the magic lies. Focus on those 6 months. Focus on those 3 months. See where it gets you. Like, focus, like grind till you can't. See where that gets you. I kid you not. That 6-month focus can get you 2 years ahead of the pack. Legit. So, this is a message to you and me. We need to focus on the smaller time frames. And wow, Mudomo in the comment section below, tell me what your opinion is about this conversation we just had. And I'm sure we'll have different perspectives and different opinions. So just list them all down so we can get to learn and grow from each other. Yeah. Yes. So, and by the way, I hope you guys used, guys, as in, it's like my speech is outside the door. As in, Domo's dreamy heavy. What's in my cup stays in my cup. I hope you guys watched the last video I made and used the figuring it out workbook. It was completely free and you can still have access to it as long as you're a subscriber. Like, please just be a subscriber first. Yeah, just be a subscriber first. Then you get access to the free workbook. And guys, tell me what you think. Keep telling me what you think and tell me what workbooks I should make around what topics and whatnot. Like, let's just keep talking about these things and helping each other out. Because honestly, guys, if we can be able to cut through the BS life brings, then we are like 2 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead. But as long as we do it together, like, that's the most important thing. Thank you so much for all the support that you have shared and all the support you've given me up to now. We are almost at 400 Levitate Squad members, guys. Hey. Hey. Ooh. Hey. Hey. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Stay safe and always choose productivity.